Reacting to the latest injury report that's come out, especially in light of the comments that Caitlin Clark herself made post-game last night. I mean, the gig is up at this point. She said she feels good. She feels fine. Well, if she does, the Indiana Fever should be allowing her to play.
Somewhere between a questionable timeout and one poorly timed tweet, the internet decided the Indiana Fever were just one dramatic headline away from becoming a full-blown soap opera. One confusing rotation, an explosion of fan outrage, and suddenly the Los Angeles Sparks are being portrayed as the heroes ready to rescue Caitlin Clark with a massive offer. But is Clark really preparing for a move to Hollywood? Or has basketball's rumor machine completely lost control? Either way, there is far more behind this story than the headlines suggest.
When you talk about interest declining, when you start looking up some 2024 numbers and compare them to the numbers we saw last night, ouch. Yikes. Wow. The Indiana Fever were in LA last night. The first time Caitlin Clark made her arrival in Los Angeles.
There is something almost surreal about watching the sport's biggest attraction dominate every conversation, except the one that may matter most. The moment Caitlin Clark steps into an arena, an ordinary basketball game becomes a major event.
Caitlin Clark continues to be a lightning rod in the WNBA, creating conversation whether she means to or not, and she's now firing up talks about all-star voting. WNBA great Candace Parker, in her Post-Moves podcast with Clark's Fever teammate Aaliyah Boston, blasted WNBA players for their lack of participation in player voting and for picking Clark 11th among guards. So fans here account for 50% of the vote to determine starters for WNBA.
The W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive. Now people are watching. Now we realize, oh, there's talent in the W. Talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not just talking about bigs like Asia. I'm talking about the Olivia Miles. I'm talking about the Paige Beckers. Hell, I'm talking about the Kelsey Mitchells. Caitlin got the necessary eyes there. But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore.
Emmanuel Acko pissed off a lot of Caitlin Clark fans when he made these comments last week. But believe it or not, Emmanuel Acko is not.
It's about comparing what happened after the final buzzer. I went through multiple Indiana Fever post-game locker room videos and noticed some striking differences in the team's energy, Stephanie White's reactions, and the overall atmosphere depending on who was on the floor and who wasn't on the floor. So we're gonna compare celebrations after wins with and without Caitlin Clark. We're gonna look at the body language. We're gonna revisit Stephanie White's comments about Kelsey Mitchell, and we're gonna discuss why I believe this long-standing relationship may be influencing decisions inside the organization.
Television ratings surge. Fans from opposing teams pack sessions just for the chance to witness one of her signature logo range three-pointers. Meanwhile, rival coaches spend days building defensive strategies focused almost entirely on one objective: finding a way to slow Caitlin Clark down.
Talk about a debacle. I mean, talk about a straight-up embarrassment and a debacle. I mean, this is embarrassing. What the Indiana Fever are doing with Caitlin Clark. We got Stephanie White at the podium, Kelsey Mitchell at the podium. They're pretty much throwing Caitlin Clark under the bus, especially Stephanie White. I mean, they basically feel like they don't need her. They don't need her. At this point, they just need to move on and break this relationship up. Send Caitlin Clark off so you guys can do your thing in Indiana.
This is women's professional basketball, right? This is pro basketball, right? If a player is healthy enough to play, they should play. I understand it's Alyssa Thomas. It's the Phoenix Mercury, although I thought I saw that Alyssa Thomas may not even play in this game. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right? There's a lot of players in this league that don't like Caitlin Clark. We all know that. I venture to say I bet we could find one on every
First game
team.
explosion versus, I'm assuming, the LA Sparks, right? And this was the reaction in the locker room. Just pay attention.
It's the ultimate. I hope you understand it's the ultimate ultimate compliment that we can trust you to start you in a game and to play you these kind of minutes and to know that you're going to show up.
Okay.
And to know that you're going to show up.
Yet somehow, the biggest debate surrounding the Indiana Fever is no longer about their playoff potential. It has shifted toward a far more uncomfortable question. Is the franchise truly doing enough to maximize the player who has already become the face of the league?
No, Manny. I have not seen Asia Wilson. I damn sure haven't seen Paige Beckers. You know who else hasn't seen them? The good people in Dallas, the good people in Las Vegas. Because neither one of these so-called stars can convince people to let go of $20 to watch them play. But I partially agree with Emmanuel Akko. The WNBA would be better off
I think people
without
need to look at
Caitlin
themselves in the
Clark.
mirror and realize, like, man, you
Yikes.
got some insecurities. If you sitting down and
Yikes.
putting Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard, like, y'all need to go to a therapist and figure out what childhood issues you have.
No minced words there by Candace Parker. Pleased now to welcome in former WNBA player Stacey Dales and ESPN women's basketball writer Kareem Copeland for more. So Kareem, I want to start with you here because there's a lot of discourse around the actual voting process.
Fans expected to watch one of basketball's brightest stars slowly regain her rhythm. Instead, many were left confused by the rotation. Clark would play a short stretch, return to the bench, spend time on the stationary bike, and then check back in later. From a medical standpoint, the plan appeared designed to prevent another setback. But to many passionate supporters, those constant interruptions made it almost impossible for Clark to find any offensive rhythm. Social media quickly erupted, with much of the criticism aimed directly at the coaching staff. Basketball has always been a sport where perception travels faster than reality. Some fans questioned the organization's handling of Clark, while others argued that the medical staff deserved patience because protecting a franchise cornerstone matters far more than winning a single regular season game. Before long, a simple discussion about conditioning turned into an emotional debate over trust, communication, and leadership. Naturally, the pressure landed on head coach Stephanie White. Coaching a team built around a player as popular as Caitlin Clark may be one of the hardest jobs in modern sports because every substitution, timeout, and rotation decision instantly becomes national news. And this situation quickly turned into a full-blown debacle.
What did the Sparks do that you saw that you did not expect them to do tonight, coming in, that allowed them to score as many points as they did tonight?
I don't think they did anything that we didn't expect them to do. You know, I think we certainly understand how capable of a team they are. I felt like we just didn't match their energy.
How capable of a team they are. This is one of the worst teams in the league. They don't have their star player in Kelsey Plum. They don't have Cameron Brink. I mean, come on, man. Stop it, Stephanie White. This was poor coaching. This was a poor plan.
The attendance
You
for that
dropped the
game
ball.
Comments was... And last night, the attendance was... Ooh. Caitlin Clark is out today for rest. Caitlin Clark just got done telling us she's perfectly healthy. So why is she out for rest? Wait, didn't Adam Silver already crack down on players sitting out for rest? Didn't you have to give some type of an excuse? Oh, that hasn't made its way over to the WNBA.
I said this a while back. I'm like, bro, the Fever play better without Caitlin Clark. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're better without Caitlin Clark, because I don't think they're better without Caitlin Clark, but they play better. Now, look, I'm not going to be delusional and say, oh, they can win a championship without Caitlin Clark. I don't think that's the case, but they just play better without her. And this is not like a situation where it's like, you look at the Aces, they don't really play well without Asia Wilson, right?
Every Fever victory is magnified, every loss is picked apart, and every decision involving Caitlin Clark becomes a national conversation that stretches far beyond basketball. That level of attention creates an extraordinary opportunity, but it also places an enormous burden on a franchise still learning how to operate under unprecedented expectations. For Indiana, the challenge is clear. Turn potential into sustained success. The talent is unquestionably there, but talent alone has never guaranteed championships. Health, chemistry, patience, smart coaching, and consistent development will ultimately determine whether the Fever become the powerhouse many imagined when Clark arrived. The debates will continue, with every game offering fresh evidence for one side or the other. But until something concrete happens, the rumors connecting Clark to Los Angeles remain exactly that, rumors. For now, Caitlin Clark is still the centerpiece of Indiana's future. The entire basketball world will be watching to see whether the Fever can transform enormous expectations into lasting success, or whether the next chapter of this remarkable story takes a completely unexpected turn.